was going to say, that's the skinniest tuna I've ever seen.
They got
Couldn't
little
find it.
mini sailfish.
Ah,
Oh, and I didn't even have to refresh. Just waiting for the YouTube connection to be made.
I made these little authors and airplanes t-shirts
Oh, cool.
and just picked a bunch of TA covers that had airplanes on them. And
Nice. Thanks for including mine.
I had red
Right return.
red right returning, and Caps one that's landing on St. Bart's, and my Sable one, and then of course Coops, because that's what he's all about.
Okay, we're now 2 minutes in, so I think we're about ready to go. Actually, we've been live for 2 minutes already.
Oh, okay.
So let me kick this thing off. Do we have anybody watching yet?
I can't tell on my iPad.
Oh, I haven't even posted a link.
five.
The link's in the chat, everybody, if you want to post it to social media. We'll
I'm
do that and then
too
get started.
unfamiliar with using this computer that I bought to do Vellum.
Jordy, could you send us the link just by the email, and I'll post it to social media?
It's I posted it in the TA group.
Okay.
You can just share that.
Okay.
Oops.
We are live. Okay. Now we can do this. Everybody ready?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, in 3, 2, 1. Good evening and welcome to the TalkWrite Show. I'm your host, Wayne Stennett, and tonight is Hot Tropics. We just invite a whole bunch of people from the Tropical Authors group, and tonight we've got a couple of very popular authors, and Nick's going to introduce us.
Howdy, howdy. I am Nick Sullivan, and we have with us tonight Don Rich and John Cunningham. And I'm going to let each of them explain their characters and their main series. John, actually, I want to know, where are you currently? John's got some pretty cool abodes that I sometimes see pictures of him in. Are you down in Key West right now, or are you at that sprawling farm in Virginia, IA?
No, I am. I'm down in Key West. Don Rich ran me out of town, so had to come down to Key West. Been down here for about a week, staying for another week right now. It was I'll tell you more about it, but it was the first anniversary of Jimmy Buffett's passing this weekend, so there was quite a bit going on down here.
Yeah,
a lot of fun. But yeah, so it's good to be down here. And you want me to continue with the book series, Nick, or you want to come back to that?
Well, we'll come back to you one sec. Hey, Don, you're in Virginia, and what is the temperature right now? Because I hear you've been experimenting with some temps that usually you have to go down where Cunningham is.
Yeah, 4 days ago, I hit 108 degrees in Richmond, but I'm over at the foot of the Blue Ridge, and right now it's 72 degrees outside. Never really got out of the 70s today.
Yeah, that's pushing down here too. We're supposed to have some really nice weather for the next few days.
I'll take it every day of the week.
Well, John, as I understand it, you're not going to be able to tell us about your next book yet because you don't have a name for it, right? But it's coming. I get the impression that the story is mostly done, right? How, when are you thinking of having the next Buck Riley come out?
Yeah, so the next story, book 12 in the series, is all but 2 chapters done, which should be done in the next 2 days. First draft, and I'll go through the editing process, but I should be posting it for, pre-sale pretty soon, and I'll do cover reveal and things once I know what the cover is going to be and once I know what the name is. But unlike you all, who I have great respect for, you will have a cover and a title before you've written word one. It always amazes me. So I have to write the whole thing and then think, all right, what really jumps out to me about this title? I have a pretty good idea what it's going to be, but that's because I'm almost done. So, and the fact that I put colors in all the titles, as I mentioned when we were chit-chatting earlier, I've used up 11 colors, and you're starting to get into tints and tones and things like that. So I've got a good solid color in mind. So
you need to get you a box of the 64 Crayola crayons.
Yeah, otherwise I'm going to wind up with like paint colors or Pantones or
My master schedule extends 8 titles into the future right now. No idea when they'll come, no idea when I'll write them, but I've already got the titles.
I love it.
Wayne's got it down to, I'm going to do so many words a day, and I'm like, how do you do that? I can't. I come up with a premise, I write the description, I put it up on Amazon as a pre-order, and then I write the book and have to go back and rewrite the description.
I don't write the description. The current book I'm writing is Dominica Blue, and I'll write the final chapter this week, the end, and it's not even on pre-order yet. So it's a lot easier to write the book and then write the description than it is to try to write the book and follow the description.
True. Yeah. That's my philosophy. So
after this last fiasco, I came down to within hours of hitting the deadline with Amazon after I'd pushed it back a month on this last on coastal competition. And so I was stressed out unbelievably, and I'm never doing that again.
I just make you a spreadsheet like I do, and you know what weeks you're not going to write. You're not going to write very much on the week of Christmas. You're not going to write a whole lot the week that you're publishing the book before that. You're not going to write a whole lot on Thanksgiving week. If you take vacation, you're not going to write that weekend. So figure out when you're not going to write, and then when you are going to write, you know what you're capable of. That's easy.
My life is totally nothing like that. I wasn't going to write anything until we got back from the Nink down in St. Pete in a couple of weeks. Nope, stayed away from the computer. And then yesterday it hit me, and I had to sit down and write the first chapter of the next book. Even came up with a name.
Well, there you go.
Gotta love inspiration, right?
Yeah, got to grab it while you can.
And
something for folks watching this, generally you can put a book up for pre-order when you haven't written a single word. All you need, in fact, I think they'll let you do it without a cover now.
I did it with just a picture. It didn't have the text on the cover or anything, but I had the picture for the cover, so I just threw that up there.
How far in advance before your release date?
3 months, at least 3 to 4 months.
Yeah.
This was last year when I was writing for just 3 books a year. This year, these 4 books have just about killed me.
Yeah, we were slacking back then. Now you're doing that and doing weightlifting competitions, setting state records, things like that.
Well, I think that has definitely helped. My mind's a lot clearer. My recall's a lot better. I don't have to go look stuff up 20 million times when I've already done it once. I can remember it. So it definitely helps. Physical fitness just goes hand in hand with mental fitness.
Absolutely.
John, let me ask you,
go ahead.
the color thing that you have, which is each of the Buck Riley books has a color in the title. And the first book, Red Right Returning, I'm going to ask you to explain what that means. I have a neighbor down the street that has a driveway, and they've got a red light and a green light there. I'm like, that's genius. But did you come up with that title and then go, oh, I should do the whole series with colors? Or did you have the colors in mind from the beginning?
Yeah, I kind of always had the colors in mind. And, when I was a teenager and really got into reading, my uncle had introduced me to all the Travis McGee stories. So he lived in Miami. This was in the early 70s. Really just ate those up and loved it. And he also had a place in the Keys, so we went down there and go fishing and diving. So really, just that whole lifestyle attracted me, and that's where I am right now. So thanks to my Uncle Bob. But the colors, I really kind of made the decision to pay homage to John D. McDonald with the colors, not to copy it or rip it off. My books are very different. I mean, Travis McGee is what it is. He's an icon.
It's just a nod to the storyteller. Yeah,
it's a nod to the storyteller. So it's a lot of fun. Although he did 22, and there's some funky colors in there. Like I said, it's getting thinner and thinner on the colors. But Red Right Return is a nautical term, which means the right buoy's on the right side as you're heading back to home. And unless you're in the Keys, of course, where the backcountry is the opposite. But say la vie.
Or if you're in the intercoastal waterway, it's right. Red Right going north.
Right. So every color that has been used, it pertains to something specific in the story. So like the last book I had come out was Buried in Orange, which was the 11th Buck Riley story. And you don't know what the orange is until like the last couple chapters. And Buried in Orange is a very germane, matter and issue that impacts the balance of the story. So every single one is relevant. One that kind of steps out that wasn't quite a color, but looked like a color was Maroon Rising. I think that was the 5th book in the series, took place in Jamaica. And Maroons down there are, native warriors who were some of the most fierce warriors. They were escaped slaves back in the times of, the colonial times. And there's still Maroons, active. It's still a vibrant culture in Jamaica. So that one was a little bit of a double entendre, if you will.
But I heard way back when, right after McDonald died, I was a huge McDonald reader. I lived for the next book to come out, and heard, well, there's a book with black in the title, and it's going to wrap the whole thing up, and that'll be the end of the series. That was before I ever wrote anything more complex than a grocery list, and did not understand you can't do that because you don't know what's going to happen in the series between now and then. So it likely won't tie in very well. And of course, there wasn't anything with black in the title, Black for the Shroud or whatever. But, it was a disappointment. Then again, not, because maybe maybe they'll let somebody pick that up and start writing him again.
I can't remember if people have tried that. I know they tried to make a couple TV shows that they never did a good job with. Those were always disappointing, and it's really timeless stuff. I don't know. I'm sure all of you have read it and found inspiration there as well. But they're pretty timeless stories. I mean, they're a little. Hyacinth provides the introduction on a lot of them, which you can imagine because they're both very editorial on Florida and the changes in Florida. So the 60s and 70s from McGee's standpoint or John McDonald's standpoint, it was pretty bad to all the developers, so much going on. Good thing he doesn't see what it is today, probably.
Oh, yeah. Still 100% valid. Every bit of them.
Yeah, right.
They wanted to put a golf course, actually several golf courses at Jonathan Dickinson State Park. It's a great
pickleball courts and a 350 room hotel.
Yeah, there's only like 2,000 golf courses in Florida.
Yeah,
I've been watching Carl Hyacinth fight that, and he was telling people where to go.
Speaking of Hyacinth, have any of y'all
small
seen
victory lap and then went, this is just they're going to do it again. So
Yep.
Keep on it.
Yep.
Speaking of hyacinth, have any of y'all seen the new series, Bad Monkey?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Based on the book by the same title.
Oh yeah.
I haven't
I've been
seen it yet.
holding
We don't have
off
Apple
till
TV.
they're all out, and then I'll watch it.
It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Coming out one at a time. I think Wednesday is the release date. So they've released 4 so far. Yeah, very, very entertaining. Vince Vaughn is a star. It's very Vince Vaughn. I think pretty much any movie Vince Vaughn does, he's Vince Vaughn. He's very
It's
quick.
Vince Vaughn.
You know, he's a character.
But he matches the character in the book perfectly.
Perfectly.
Yeah, I'd say so. But
My hope, and Carl Hyson, if you're watching, my hope is like the Fargo series, that this will go on with different Hyson books, but they'll change out the writers, change out the well, maybe if the writers are good, they keep the writers, but recast, because most of his leads don't repeat.
You're right.
This guy in Bad Monkey
Except
apparently
Skink.
is in one other book.
Skink.
Skink, yes, you got to cast Skink and keep Skink.
But if you blow the casting Skink, it'll ruin everything, because that's such a
you got to have the perfect Skink.
Yeah.
Does this have? Well, I don't want to spoil anything for people watching, but I haven't heard anything about Skink in what I've read, so
no,
we'll see.
Not yet.
No, I don't think Skink was in Bad Monkey.
Yeah.
And I remember reading that in Cozumel. It had just come out when I was on my second dive there, and I was walking around with a little Bad Monkey. I kind of hate that the covers now have Vince Vaughn's face on them in the book.
I haven't seen
And
that.
I'm like, come on, the screaming monkey with the pirate hat.
Yeah.
That's what it should be.
I was at a reading of his in this little tiny bookstore in West Palm Beach, and there were probably 40 people crammed in this little room, and he was reading it, and one of these ladies in the back was going, because Striptease had just come out as a movie, and she said, "Aren't you upset with how Hollywood treated striptease? How it didn't follow the book at all." And he got this funny look on his face. He says, "Lady, you don't seem to understand. This is my job. The check cashed, and I'm good with that."
Yeah.
He says every book that I write goes out for 6 months. It's optioned for 6 months, and if it's not in pre-production at the end of 6 months, I get it back and I sell it again.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Hey, if you're Hyacin, you can do it.
And maybe that's one of the benefits of him not having. I mean, he's got a couple with like 2 in a series. Skink repeats multiple times, but I don't. Even in the Skink series, I'm not sure there's other repeat characters. But if Hollywood screws up your franchise, that could be negative.
Yeah.
If they do a job with it, that could be super positive. If it's a one-off,
if they follow the Fargo method, I mean, there was one that was sort of, but generally those have been good. True Detective as well, and Sick Puppy, Native Tongue. There's some that just absolutely should be made. I think they would make a phenomenal series.
What was the one with the blue tongue voles?
Oh,
the Native Tongue.
Native tongue.
Yeah.
I like
that one was good.
What was the one with the guys were doing the bass tournaments, but they figured out how to cheat, and I forget what that was. They're all so funny.
Oh,
Rich, you're the one that should know this.
What's that?
I know the book, the bass tournament, where it's set in mostly in the Everglades, and they create an earthquake. We're ruining a lot of people's reading.
Yes.
That's all right. Don't read Hyacin, read us.
Yeah.
So everybody here is going to be in St. Pete. Is that right? Other than Nink, is anybody planning on doing anything?
Drinking count?
We're arriving Sunday, and I'm planning to do as little as possible until Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, it's just nose to the grindstone.
I'm going to the Columbia restaurant for their Cuban sandwich and salad. Oh, awesome. Absolutely awesome.
I'm coming solo. My wife's staying at home. We have a new granddaughter, so she's staying close to that. And so it's my first time coming to NINC and really spending any time in that part of the world, except for maybe one trip in my teens as a coming up from Key West. So I'll be looking to you all for guidance. So looking forward to it.
It's going to be fun. You got a Concorn?
It's on my list to get here before I leave.
Definitely pack that. That was the highlight of the whole conference last year. Everybody was been talking about it ever since.
I got to put that on my list.
Well, Don, you had a new book out just a couple of days ago, didn't you?
Yeah, it was ¡1 in Sea Adventure Fiction for one day, and then
congratulations!
Your book came out. I got knocked down faster, but no, that one was part of the Coastal Adventures series, and that was a coastal competition. And even though it got black and blue a little bit, it's still up there next to.
Yeah, it's still hanging good. It'll stick there a long time, I think.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. And then I've got a new series out called the Mobjack Mystery and Adventure Series, which is where Coastal Adventure Series is over on the eastern shore of Virginia, on the eastern shore of the Chesapeake Bay. Mobjack Bay is over on the western shore, and a completely different set of characters and a little different vibe to it. I'm having a lot of fun with it. An awful lot of fun writing it.
I read that one. Really enjoyed it, Don. Good first start to your new series there.
Well, thank you, John. Thanks.
It's always fun to start a new series.
It is, and then I'm splitting it up. A lot of successful people around here will have a boat or a house down at the river, Rivah. And so that's what happens with the main character. He's actually a moonshiner and runs an underground poker tournament, big poker tournament, and he also owns a brewery here in Crozet. So I get to spend time. My character gets to spend time in Crozet and also down around Matthews, Virginia, which is one of my favorite places. So it makes it a lot of fun for me for writing it.
Yeah,
Matthews. Oh, there's a plant there that makes PVC pipe.
I haven't seen that.
I used to. It's on the south side of Matthews. I used to pick up there all the time.
Oh, cool.
That's a terrible load to haul. I mean, it shifts and moves, and it's lightweight, and I hated those things.
You like those big tires.
The tires are real easy. There's only 2 or 3 of them on the trailer. Versus 500,000 pieces of pipe.
Matthews has been undergoing a revitalization where they're going in and putting in a lot of independent little stores and some great restaurants down there, and not a whole lot of places to stay, which is just fine. Let everybody get the hell out of there, leave more room on the street. But I'd say I love the little town. It's kind of like Key West without all the people.
That's a pretty part of the state for sure.
Yeah.
Something viewers may not know, but Wayne Stennett, before he became a best-selling novelist, was a trucker, and his wisdom came into play for me recently when I was driving back from Tennessee on a Monday, and I called you for something or other and mentioned that I had gotten stuck on the 2-lane I-81 behind Oversized Loads. I was like, it's more oversized things than I've ever seen in my life on a Monday. And you told me, and I'll let you fill in why that was. And now I'm not going to drive on I-81 on a Monday if I can help it.
Well, in most situations, oversized loads can only be moved during daylight hours. And a lot of larger cities have curfews where you can't come through the city during rush hour, morning or evening rush hour. And where you were driving just happens to be one of the most productive sites for everything. I mean, there's steel mills and all kind of everything's built up there. Was that the part that you were talking about? Or?
Well, no, I thought you said something about the oversized loads. They weren't supposed to move them on certain interstates on weekends.
Yeah, weekends also. There's specifically in the Northeast.
So they would hang out and then
limited Monday through Friday
Monday,
daylight,
which is why I was stuck.
81
swimming pools and double wides.
Yeah, that's a tough road. My daughter went to Virginia Tech, so I'd drive down there to see her. And we had to go down there when she lost her license for doing 92 miles an hour in her little Honda CRV while she was watching a video. I was like, that's good, dear. Glad you lost your license. Maybe you'll survive. But yeah, that's a lot of traffic on that route, truck traffic. One thing when you're in a truck, it's another when you're in a SUV or a car or something.
But we try to take it as easy on the motoring public as possible.
Yeah.
But sometimes people do really dumb stuff around trucks.
Yeah, it's normally the other drivers that screw up. Certainly, I've never seen a trucker cause me any issues, but it's the people who get around them that I don't know what they'd freak out or something.
It's like, where do they have to go that they have to be there right now unless they're bleeding?
My daughter had to get to class, unfortunately, which she wound up missing because she got hauled in.
Do we have any questions from YouTube? I would try to bring it up on my phone, but I don't.
I just checked a minute ago. I didn't see any. Anybody watching on YouTube and you have a question, just drop it in the chat. No, I don't see anything.
Well, let's see. One thing, hopefully everyone will be able to come to, a new tropical author, Nathan Van Coops, who is an aviator, is going to be landing his plane at St. Pete's Little Airport there in downtown. And so will Cap Daniels. And there is a restaurant and bar on the second floor of the FBO for that airport. So there will be a bunch of tropical authors on the 18th from noon to 4 at the Hangar Restaurant Bar and Grill. So if you watch this and you see this little ending here, now you know where you can go and have a beer with some of your favorite authors, and maybe we'll sign a book for you.
Is that the airport that's over by the water?
Yes, it's just south of the downtown Dock Fords.
Yeah, right across the water from Dock Fords.
Yeah,
oh, Whitted, I think. Whitted Airport, I think it is. W-H-I.
Say that again?
Isn't it Whitted, W-H-I-T?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I just read Coop's first book. Actually, enjoyed it.
Okay, we do have a couple of questions now.
Oh, excellent.
My wife's downstairs cooking dinner, and she asks, what's each person's favorite book? The favorite book that you wrote?
Ooh. That reminds me of when somebody asked Jimmy Buffett's drummer what his favorite song was that they played on, at concerts, and he said the last one.
Or when what was it? A reporter asked him, well, which way is your music heading? And he said, south.
I'm loving
Mob Jack Gamble is your favorite?
Yeah, that's the first one in the Mob Jack Mystery and Adventure books. Actually, though, it's the second book. I wrote a novella that if you buy this book, there's a link in the front of it to being able to get the novella for free, which is Mob Jack Creek.
Yeah.
Well, mine has always been Fallen Pride, and main reason for that is all the revenue produced by that book has been donated to veterans charities since day one. When I first wrote it, we donated half of the income to I forget what, Wounded Warriors.
Mm.
And that continued until it was about a year old. And then we switched it over to 100% of all proceeds and started donating to other veterans charities. Now it goes to service members undertaking disabled sports, which used to be soldiers undertaking disabled scuba or just plain SUDS.
That's right.
But now I'd have to say Appalachia Fair is my favorite of all the books I've written. It's I had so much fun digging into Dawn's books, working with Kat and Debbie, her cousin, or her daughter and cousin, and just figuring out all the little details.
It's cool.
I bought it. I haven't read it yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
Let's say for me, they're all different. My characters, the series takes place in Key West in the Caribbean. They either start or finish in Key West every time, and there's typically some issue or mission to help somebody or look for a treasure or something that takes place in another location. But the last book, called Buried in Orange, I mentioned it before, and that one, Buck got the call to fly his new restored Grumman Albatross, he and Ray Floyd, his partner, all the way to Italy for a Formula One race to do a flyover at the race. So being a good author, I had to go there, go to Italy, go to the Formula One race, go into the paddock, hang out there, and then travel all the other locations, the Dolomites, Lake Como, do all that. And of course, I'm being facetious. That was fun to do, but it's an interesting story. And at the end, there's a big reveal. Buck, when the second book, he found out he was adopted. And at the end of the 11th book, he finds out who his birth father is. So,
Yay!
So the next book, he's on a mission to learn about his birth mother, who unfortunately died giving him birth. So it's got a lot, like you were saying, right? And a lot of research into that. I mean, all the books. I mean, that's half the fun is doing the research for me.
Definitely.
When you have
especially those research trips, they're hard, they're expensive, but you got to do it.
That's right. That's right. We owe it to our readers to be accurate.
I would agree with that. I went to Saba right after Hurricane Irma. A lot of the trees were denuded, so the decision to set this in Irma, it was a no-brainer because all the people I was talking to were telling me about holding the door closed as the wind tried to pull it out of their hands and distributing whistles in case the walls came down. And this one of mine, I think, is probably the tightest. And it's also when, after Deep Shadow, I realized, Emily's actually just as important as Boone, because that wasn't what I had in mind when I wrote Shadow initially. But when the days get long, this one's my favorite.
Yeah. I enjoyed that book so much. And I'm not a science fiction thriller kind of reader, but it was it was so much fun reading that.
Creature features are really more action adventure than they are Stephen King horror.
We do have another question.
Jurassic Park, they're more action.
Hula Girl is asking, first she apologized for being late, and then she asks if we're going to write another collaboration.
Not anytime soon, I don't think. But it's been discussed. I think we would, when we did those other collaborations, we had an idea of, we're going to do a series and we're going to mix up these folks. I think the idea would have to come first rather than the desire to do some collaborations. And if certain things, like I see this new Van Coops fellow and I'm thinking he and Cunningham should have books together. There's probably going to be something at some point, but I haven't heard any whispers as of yet.
That would be in the distant future, maybe, possibly next year.
How many total were done amongst tropical authors? I know we did 2. Don
5.
did 1. Okay.
5 total, and there was a 6th one planned, but we just couldn't.
Ruthless was
Yeah, we just
discussed.
couldn't nail Cap Daniels down to contribute. He's so busy.
Well, we're going to have him trapped in the same place with us for a whole week, so maybe
I'm gonna be on a fishing boat with him all day long next week, so I'm gonna bend his ear a little bit.
Well, hula girl, Charlotte Roberson, nice to hear from you. Hope you're doing well. And yeah, that we had a lot of fun doing. Nick Harvey's not on right now, and Don Rich wasn't a part of it, but Nick Wayne and I had a lot of fun doing Timeless and Graceless, and they well, for me, that's what got me the honor of being a USA Today best-selling author. I think Wayne was already there, maybe Nick too, but and through Wayne's guidance and making that happen. So those books were a lot of fun and pretty special to us.
and we got that in under the wire before they killed it off.
Now it's back.
Just barely.
Perfect timing. Oh, it is back, but not really.
No, it's
different now how they rate it.
Yeah, it's like college football ranking. It's all opinion.
Charlotte or Hula Girl is a good example of fans who are, their interest in your series can actually impact what you do. I wound up having one of Buck's former research partner at eAntiquity, his original company. Her name was Scarlett Roberson, so I borrowed Charlotte's last name for that character, which I know she always enjoys, and so do I.
Well, we are now overtime. So I want to thank you guys for coming on with us. It's been a lot of fun. Good to see you all again.
Looking forward to seeing you, a few weeks from now.
It's not far.
Oh, 18.
Yeah, just a couple more weeks.
Yep.
Good luck deep sea fishing, Wayne. I'll be flats fishing on Friday, so hopefully the wind stays down.
Well, hopefully we catch a whole bunch of fish. Thank you all for being on, and thanks for our supporters and sponsors. Well, none of them are sponsors; they're all just supporters. But Aurora Publicity, Down Island Press, How Not to Sail, the TalkWrite Show, of course, and Tropical Authors. And did I miss anybody? Oh, Latitudes and Attitudes. I got them all. And you know how I did that?
You finally have the Post-it?
No, I pulled up my newsletter that went out a couple of days, and all the sponsors are listed at the bottom.
That works.